Hi, everyone. This is Jillian from Jewish Workshops. It is a pleasure to be joining all of you today, and we are extremely privileged to have Rabbi Friedman on the line. Before we get started, I'd love to see who's joining us and where you're from. So please just go to your chat box. It should be on the right-hand side of your screen, and put your first name or your initials and where you're joining us from so I can go ahead and welcome you. And welcome, Howard from Israel. Shalom, Jeremy from Orlando. Welcome, Sarah from Michigan. And Gabriella from Israel. Welcome. Gila from Jerusalem. Welcome, TE from Switzerland. And Karen from California. MS from San Diego. Welcome. Penina from Israel. And Hannah from Paris. Tatiana from New Jersey. Welcome. Chaya from New York. And let me see, so many people are coming in. This is wonderful. Welcome, Jennifer from Florida, GM from Brooklyn, Philly, Galina from Philly, Luba from California, Diego from Colombia. Welcome. This is so wonderful to see people from all around the world, and people are continuing to flood in as we start off today. Welcome, Alex from Israel and Meira from Israel. Welcome, welcome to everyone. It is great to have you all here. And as I mentioned, as people continue to flood in, we are likely to hit capacity, so please don't leave in the middle. We don't want anyone to get locked. Wish I could spend all day welcoming everyone, but that could take a while. Let me just say welcome to Jonathan from Arizona. Diego says, thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman. You're my mentor. It's so exciting to be here. Wonderful to have all of you. Over the last 3 years, Jewish Workshops has offered a variety of programs on marriage, relationships, personal growth and introspection, and of course, parenting. Countless emails and phone calls have come in requesting guidance in one of the most areas of our lives. So we asked world-renowned philosopher, author, and counselor, Rabbi Friedman, to introduce to us today his unique insights on and perspective on parenting. Make sure to stay on the line until the very end to hear about this one-time chance to also join Rabbi Friedman week after week for a full live online program at a special discounted rate just for attending. We'll also answer as many questions as possible, so please feel free to put your questions right into this chat box, and we will get to all of those at the end as well. It is a supreme honor to be hosting Rabbi Friedman. Rabbi Friedman is a world-renowned author, counselor, lecturer, and philosopher who uses ancient wisdom and modern wit as he captivates audiences around the world. Over 150,000 copies of his provocative yet entertaining tapes, both audio and video, have been sold, and his widely praised book, Doesn't Anyone Blush Anymore, is in its 4th printing. Rabbi Friedman has also been featured internationally in over 200 print articles and is interviewed on more than 50 television and radio talk shows. We are so grateful that you're spending your time with us today, Rabbi Friedman. How are you doing?
Thank God, wonderful. I'm glad to be doing this because of all the issues today, I think this might be the most important.
Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. First, a few questions. It is popularly believed that if children are not happy, if children are having issues, it's probably because of low self-esteem. Or it's because they're not getting enough love. So it almost seems like the answer to all questions and all problems is more love and higher self-esteem. And no matter how much love you're giving your children, if they still have issues, it's because you have to give them more love. There's no end. Let's take a look. Is this working? Is more love making things better? Are parents more loving today than 2 generations ago? You could make the argument that parents are more loving. Are children happier, healthier, smarter? I don't think so. Self-esteem, more self-esteem, better self-esteem. it's getting to where we're actually creating little monsters who believe that they are special and privileged and deserving. But then again, life doesn't treat you that way. So if we tell children that they are special and that they're precious and that they're deserving of everything good, and we give them a really high self-esteem, but then life presents difficulties. They can't get everything they want. Now they've got a conflict, they've got a contradiction in their life. They deserve everything, but they're not getting everything. How are they to handle this? There's an injustice that they can't accept. If I deserve everything, well, then where is it? Why don't I have it? And at some point, as the children get older and you tell them right from wrong, you say to them, you know, you may want this relationship, but it's not right. Well, they can't handle that. Oh, all of a sudden, having what I want is not the objective? That is not the goal? So it's very similar to parents telling their children, all we want for you is to be happy. You should be happy. That's your happiness is the most important thing. And then they come home and tell you what they decided to do and how they want to live. And you say, no, that's not acceptable. There's a contradiction there. So I'm beginning to suspect that maybe high self-esteem is not only not the solution to all problems, but it may actually be causing problems. And that loving your children may also become toxic at some point. Consider this. Unconditional love. Right? Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that what ought to be? Shouldn't we all love our children unconditionally? And unconditional love, shouldn't that make children secure, happy, content, and therefore cooperative? No? If you think about it, love is an emotion. An emotion means a reaction to someone. If I love you, it's a reaction to you. Something about you appeals to me, draws me. If I hate you, then there is something about you that turns me off and that repels me, and I want to get away from you. So all emotion is a reaction to another person who can either love you back or hate you back. In other words, you share the same emotions. How can that be unconditional? How can I react to you unconditionally when you keep changing? So how can I say I find you lovable when you're not lovable, when you're being hateful? So, well, I don't care. I love you anyway. Well, then who am I reacting to? Is it possible that when a mother says to her child, I love you unconditionally, the child actually resents it because that means that the child no longer matters? Because no matter what the child does, your reaction is going to be the same. So is that really an emotion? Is that a relationship? Are you reacting to me? Maybe when a child is told, I love you unconditionally, they feel a need to act out, to drive you so crazy that you will admit that you don't love them right now. And then you are reacting to them because they matter. So saying, I will love you unconditionally is like saying, you don't matter. What you do doesn't matter. How you behave doesn't matter. I've made up my mind. I'm into love. And I'm going to love you whether you like it or not. Actually, what should be unconditional is a fact, not a feeling. The fact that you are my child, the fact that I am your father or mother, that is unconditional. I will never step out of that role because it is true. No matter how you behave, you are my child. You're mine. And that is so unconditional that even when I hate you, I'm still your father and you're still my child. You are mine and I am yours. And right now I hate you. See, that's unconditional. That's security without sacrificing my reality. So you will react to me depending on how I behave. So I'm real. You're noticing me. You're responding to me, and you're responding appropriately. When I deserve love, you give me love. When I deserve hate, you give me hate. That's correct. But no matter whether you love me or hate me, we are family. I'm yours, you're mine, and that will never change and that will never break. So if self-esteem is not the solution and love is not the solution, then what is? There's actually a very palpable, obvious fear that people have of their children, afraid of their own children. We're so afraid of making a mistake. We're so afraid of upsetting our child that we don't really parent with any confidence. We hardly parent at all. We cater to our children, hoping that they will somehow appreciate what we're doing for them. So I hope, just as a disclaimer, I hope that these conversations that we're going to have and these examinations of parenting and so on, that this doesn't add to the already difficult burden and doesn't make you more fearful. So am I doing it right? Did I just make a mistake? Did I just ruin my child's life? Sometimes even conversations, even talking about child raising can create problems. So you read all these books on how to raise children and you realize you didn't do it this way, you didn't do it that way. So maybe you ruined your kid, maybe you destroyed. It just makes it so much harder when parenting should be spontaneous, effortless. Just be yourself and let your child follow your example. Isn't that a good way to raise a child? Let's consider another thing. What works therapeutically, when there's a problem, when there's an issue, when there's some pathology, there are ways of fixing it. Therapeutic methods, therapeutic style, therapeutic philosophy. Does the therapeutic model also work as a way of raising children to not have issues in the first place? In other words, preventative. How do you raise a healthy child who doesn't have a problem? How do you raise them to be problem-free? Can the same approach or the same thinking that works therapeutically, correcting, repairing damage, can it also be an initial positive and preferred style of raising a child? Probably not. Probably not. On the other hand, the philosophy of how you raise a child, the principles of child raising, can it also be of service in the therapeutic field? Hopefully, yes. Because if that's what would make a child healthy, then why shouldn't a child who has an issue get a healthy dose of what's healthy, instead of being treated exclusively as a victim in need of repair? So that leads us to the question, what is child raising? What is parenting? What is it? What does it mean? We don't know. We've never really been given a good definition. We know when it goes wrong, but we don't know when it's right. So this is what we need to discuss, and this is going to change everything, because if you know what you're doing, you feel so much more confident, even when you make a mistake. If I know where I'm going, then even if I get verblunget, if you know what I mean, if I do make a wrong turn on the highway, I'll find my way back because I know where I'm going. But if I'm not sure where I'm going, then every mistake seems terminal, all over, finished, lost, never to be found again. So if we get a good definition and a good picture of what it is we're supposed to accomplish in raising a child, before we get to the how-to, we need to know what is it we're trying to do? What's the end goal? What's the objective? There's also the question of whatever it takes to raise children, do I have it? Do I have what it takes? How are we going to know whether I have what it takes when I'm not sure what it is? So if I'm not clear about what child raising is, how am I supposed to know whether I have the tools or the ability to make it happen? I don't know what's supposed to happen, which again leaves me very insecure. So here's what I'm suggesting as introduction to our understanding of child raising. Insecurity is not a good idea. An insecure parent is going to make a child insecure. If you don't parent confidently, then it doesn't work. So rule number one, be confident. Be confident that you're the adult. You know right from wrong. You know what the child needs to be, what the child needs to hear, what the child needs to learn. You know the child does not know, and that puts you in a comfortable, secure position where you have the confidence that there is a lot that you have that the child needs to acquire. And then it's just a question of what's the best way to make that happen. But without that confidence, if you're insecure, if you're uncertain, everything you say to your child sounds hollow. It sounds maybe a little desperate, but it is certainly not convincing. And it does not provide a solid foundation for a life, any kind of life. So here's a truth, a truism that we all need to get comfortable with and convinced of. Of course, children need to be loved. Of course, children need to know that they're being loved. They need to see it, they need to feel it, they need to hear it, of course. But that's like icing on the cake. Love is not a cake. Love is not life. And that's why, God forbid, you can have a child who does not love life because their life is not what they want it to be or what they need it to be. And so they don't love it. Love and life are two very different things. Life is the cake, love is the icing. Sometimes, when there is no cake, the icing is disappointing, is pointless, useless, empty. What you really hunger for is the cake, not the icing. Maybe not cake. What you really hunger for is the steak, not the sizzle. The sizzle does not satisfy. Okay, maybe not steak, something healthy. But it's the food, the nutrition that you hunger for, not the look, not the crunch, not even the sweetness of it. So love makes life sweet if you have a life. And if you do have a life and are missing the sweetness, well, you still have a life. It'd be nice if it was also sweet, if it was also pleasant. So yes, the icing enhances the cake, but it can't replace it. It can't substitute. So if love is not the core, if love is not synonymous with life, what is? Self-esteem. If you have self-esteem, you have everything. Certainly not. In fact, here's the problem with self-esteem. The problem with self-esteem is that the phrase begins with the word self, and that's already bad. The thing we're suffering most from today is the addiction to self. The me monster. Me, 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 me. It is so bad that we're actually starting to hate it. I don't want to hear about me anymore. Stop telling me about me. I need to get off that subject because I'm drowning in it. Can't take it anymore. And possibly this is what children mean when they say, leave me alone. They don't mean neglect me. They mean, can we stop about me? Enough with the me. Somebody went to a rabbi and asked, how do you observe Shabbos? And the rabbi said, on Shabbos you do what you find most meaningful. And the 17-year-old kid walked away completely turned off and insulted. And when I spoke to him, he said, I go to a rabbi, I ask him what it takes to observe the Sabbath, and he tells me, whatever you think is best. You're telling me I can do what I want? Do I need a rabbi to tell me that? I know I can do what I want. I've always done what I want. You go to a rabbi to find out what is right, what ought to be, not what can be. So he was very disappointed when the rabbi was actually giving him good self-image. He was empowering him. He was telling him, whatever you feel is significant and right for you, that's the best. And this kid was completely turned off. That's not what I need a rabbi for. I don't need anybody in the 21st century America to tell me that I can do whatever I think is right. Those days are gone. Maybe 100 years ago, when people were so overwhelmed by shoulds and shouldn'ts and right and wrong and religion and communism and czars who tell you what to do, It was a relief to hear that I can do what I want. That was a long time ago. Of course I can do what I want. And I don't necessarily enjoy it. In fact, I hate it because it's so directionless, pointless, meaningless. I need to know what I ought to be doing. I need to know what's expected, what the objective is, what the goal is. Do whatever you want. That's a dead end. So leave me alone. Leave the me out of it. Everybody's telling me what's best for me, including me. All I want is me, and this me is taking over my life. I'm stuck in it. I'm trapped in it, and I hate it. So what is a good self-image? Obviously, a low self-image is destructive. It is. But so is a high self-image. It's the same issue, two sides of the same coin. And what they both have in common is the word self. It's all about self. Children complain to their parents, "You have to accept me as I am. This is me. And you won't accept me because all you think of is you. Everything's about you." So you see what's going on? Children accuse the parents of only thinking about themselves. And what should they be thinking about? What should the parents be thinking about? Me. This is very disturbed. Okay. Good self-image. A good self-image is a self that you can dispense with. It's a self that you can move past. It's a self that you can laugh at, and it's a self that you can ignore. Low self-image means I can't ignore myself. It's always about me, and it's always about me being the loser, the failure, the dropout, the victim. Too much about me. But high self-image is the exact same thing in reverse. I deserve, I should have, get out of my way, accept me as I am, this is me, me, me. They're both toxic. They're both toxic because they trap you in a tiny little world called me. Tiny little world. Claustrophobic. So a good self-image means a self that you don't have to take seriously. A person who can laugh at their self, you see? Laugh at the me. This is me, and it's kind of laughable. Nothing to be excited about. That's a really healthy self-image. And if you'll notice, the people you're attracted to the most easily, the most naturally, that everyone is attracted to, is the person who can laugh at himself. Everybody loves it. Everybody needs it. I don't mean become a comedian, although part of good comedy is the self-deprecating humor where you can laugh at yourself and people welcome that. It makes them feel good. It helps them laugh at themselves. This vicious kind of humor that has now become popular, cutting people down, ridiculing people, that's not useful. It's not even funny. It's nasty. Nobody needs to hear nasty. We do need to hear self-deprecating because we're drowning in ourselves and we're looking for ways to get out. I don't know professionally or factually, scientifically, but it's very possible children hurt themselves because they're drowning in themselves and they want to break out. They don't know how. So if it's not love that makes life significant, important, valuable, and justified, right? In fact, love should not even be described as important. It's the wrong word. Love is the appropriate spirit in which you conduct a relationship that is, for some reason, important in your life. So here's the rule. That which is important, you should love. But love does not make something important. How do you convince an 11-year-old that the brother he hates is still more important in his life than the dog that he loves? Most children are not convinced. For most children, if you love your dog and you don't love your brother, then the dog comes first, because I love my dog. How arrogant, how disturbed is that? Something is important when I love it, and when I stop loving it, you're not important anymore? Is that how it goes? The brother you hate is still more important than the dog you love. So love is the appropriate emotion, feeling, spirit in which to conduct a relationship with someone who is important in your life. And if you don't love those who are important, they're still important. And if you do love those who are not important in your life, they're still not important. They're like chocolate. You love it, it's not important. Self-esteem does not make your life work better. A self that you can laugh at, that's better. But we still don't have a definition for what is life. Let's try this. More than we need to be loved, we need to be needed. More than I need to fulfill my needs, I need to know that I'm fulfilling somebody else's need. Now, this is really important. Let's get this clear. Life means to be necessary, to be of service, to make a difference. That's life. If I don't make a difference, all I'm doing is taking up space, and I hate it. I hate being without having an effect. It violates the human spirit to think, I am here, I take up space, I eat, drink, and sleep, and I have no effect on anybody. This is not acceptable to a human being. A human being is a purposeful creature. And that's why we're always asking, what is the purpose? Why are we here? What is the meaning of life? Why can't we just enjoy? Because we are essentially, by definition, purposeful creatures. We are driven by purpose, not by need. Our needs are our weakness. Our purpose is our strength. So I need to be needed much more than I need to satisfy my needs. So if I don't have everything I need, I can live with it. If I'm not having any effect on anybody else, I cannot live with it. Viktor Frankl puts it in different words. He says, in the concentration camp, your needs are all denied. You don't get what you need. Or you barely get what you need. And yet people have survived it. But those in the concentration camp who saw no purpose, who didn't see where they were necessary, where they were having a beneficial effect on somebody, somewhere, somehow, those did not survive. This is a very powerful statement about what we are in truth. What we are is what makes life meaningful. And we need to be needed more than we need to be loved. Tell me that I'm necessary and you don't like me. That's better than I like you very much, but you're not necessary. I like you very much, but you're not necessary is appropriate for a pet. A pet is not necessary, but very enjoyable, lovable, cute. If you tell a human being you're lovable, you're enjoyable, you're cute, you're just not necessary, it is not a compliment, and he cannot survive that. I must know that I make a difference. I must know that I am indispensable. Someone somewhere finds me indispensable. And that's why Judaism makes such a strong emphasis on whether you know it or not, you are necessary in God's creation, because God will never create something that isn't necessary. Does that mean God loves you? I don't know. Do you love him? So the essence of Judaism is not God loves you. The essence of Judaism is you are necessary. You are a vital part of a vast eternal plan. And even if he doesn't like you, he still needs you in his world. And then if you're nice, he might even love you, which would be perfect, the icing on the cake. So what does it mean to be needed? Sometimes when people are depressed, the best solution is find somebody who really needs your help and offer help. All of a sudden, you're not depressed. All of a sudden, you've got a life. That's the key. That's the key. So what is raising children? Raising children means give them a firm, strong, clear understanding that life is about making a difference. Life is about being needed, not about attending to your needs. Look, isn't it true that people whose needs are completely satisfied, they have everything they need and in abundance, aren't they most likely to get depressed? Because where do you go from there? Okay, I've had what to eat, plenty. I've had enough drink. I've had enough sleep. I have enough money to make me secure for 100 years. Now what? Eat some more, drink some more, sleep some more, get more money. It doesn't add up. Raising children means tell them what the purpose of life is, tell them where they're needed, how they're needed, and by whom they are needed. That's life. To sweeten life, you add a little love, and you add a little compassion, and you add a little humor, and you sweeten up the sour notes that are part of life. But what is life? Life is you make a difference. You have an effect. Somebody somewhere needs you to be here. And somebody said, you know what a birthday is? What's so special about a birthday? A birthday is the day that God decided that the world is not complete without you. Is that a good self-image? No, it's not about self. It's about the fact that someone else needs you and that you can enhance or fulfill or satisfy someone else's need. You are needed. That is empowering and humbling at the same time. There's no arrogance here. So imagine if we were all raised with that message. We are here to make a difference to others. This would be a pretty nice world. We would have a very nice society. Everyone available to fulfill needs that are not their own. So when you teach a child, for example, to share, how do you present it? What does the child hear? You must share with your friends or they'll never come back. Is that what it is? You must share. It is self-serving. You got to share, because if you don't share, you're going to lose a friend. And then you'll be lonely. Or you have to share with your friend, because what's going to happen when you go to your friend's house? If you don't share with him, he won't share with you. Is that being needed? You should share with your friend, because your friend needs to be welcomed and comfortable in your home. So when he comes to your home, you got to do whatever it takes to make him feel welcomed, comfortable, and secure. If you don't share your toys, he'll get the impression that you don't want him here. And that's not nice for him. He needs you to be his friend. Give him what he needs. That's what you're needed for. You tell a child to study, get good grades. Why? So that you'll have your needs met, or so that you'll be able to meet other people's needs? See, even in the business world, big business, the most successful businesses, they're all saying, tell the world how you're serving, how you're making life better for others, and then you will be successful. So there's our goal. There's our objective. We're going to have a few conversations. We're going to have a few sessions in talking about raising children, but now we know where we're going. Now we know where we're headed. Your child needs to be needed. If he doesn't feel needed, no amount of love will make up for it. If you're not necessary, you can pile on the love and it's all foolish and meaningless, because there's no one there to get the love. There's no valid human being who feels necessary in this world to appreciate the love. And high self-esteem, it's shallow, it's empty. What is your high self-esteem? What are you, the smartest, the most accomplished, the most capable? It's shallow. You tell a child you're the greatest and you're the best, and then he goes off to high school and he finds out that he's not the greatest and not the best at anything. Now what? Oh yeah, but I love you. Oh, so we're back to that again. So by all means, love your child, but also give him a life. That's what we need to accomplish. So it's a really good idea that we're going to have these sessions, these talks, these studies. We got to get to the bottom of this. Life depends on it. So what do we have in store?
Thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman. We've got some great questions coming into the chat box, and I just want to see if everyone can come back and let me know who is ready to continue on this amazing journey with Rabbi Friedman. We have 6 weeks coming up, and I am going to go into the details of that right now. So, it looks like, thank you so much. Amazing. I'm ready. I want to see what else is coming. Okay, great. Here we go. We are introducing you to a full parenting journey with Rabbi Friedman. Over the next 6 weeks, we are going to start with beyond self-esteem, beyond love. We're going to really delve into a little bit further of some of the things Rabbi Friedman was speaking about today. If building self-esteem is the answer, why isn't it working? If moral love will fix all the problems, why isn't it working? We're going to discover the answers to these difficult questions as Rabbi Friedman addresses the controversial issues of why love isn't enough. Then the following week, why is discipline necessary? Discipline discourages doing what's wrong. Positive reinforcement encourages doing what's right. So learn the two kinds of discipline, not allowing bad behavior and not allowing sloppy goodness. 3, we'll be learning how to raise pleasure. Child raising refers to the quality of pleasure that one pursues. Rabbi Friedman will reveal how we can help a child develop a pleasure in finer things and raise a child to find the pleasure in what's proper. Followed by, when a child chooses a different path, does it mean you failed? What constitutes success as a parent? Cast your bread upon the waters, for in the length of days you shall find it. Educating children is like planting seeds. In this class, we're going to see how some seeds blossom quickly and some slower. In some climates, things grow faster, in some climates, slower. We must have confidence in the teachings. In the length of days, we will see results. Then, child rearing through the ages. Let Rabbi Friedman take you on an in-depth look at what each year of childhood should look like. And finally, a full Q&A to gain solutions to your personal questions through a live Q&A and implementation session. Each of these ongoing classes will be live and interactive, allowing you to get your biggest questions answered and stay completely anonymous if you choose. They will all take place on Thursdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Israel time, and our first class is starting next Thursday, November 30th. But don't class, or you'd just like to listen to the class again and again, a recording will be available to you in your own personal membership area just 24 hours after that live class takes place to listen to or download at your convenience. In addition to the live weekly interactive sessions, for the first time ever, we're including our best-selling courses from Rabbi Friedman for an all-encompassing journey. Will you be able to spend the next 6 weeks learning how to parent properly and with purpose, but you'll also get the full series of A Couple's Guide to Lasting Intimacy. When you have a healthy, intimate relationship with your spouse, parenting gets much easier. In this 4-part series, Rabbi Friedman will give you the guidance to help you rediscover desire, pleasure, and passion by developing emotional, spiritual, and physical oneness with your spouse. Plus, the full series on a new path to self-acceptance, personal power, and a healthy self-esteem. In this 8-part series, you will help break through your fear and vulnerability and finally find an inner stability to help you through challenging and uncertain times. Plus, getting to like the people you love. An insightful 14-part series that examines the nature of relationships, their godly dimensions, and the secrets to getting along with the people you can't get along without. Every relationship demands wisdom and thoughtfulness. Now you'll have more understanding, guiding you towards a more meaningful family life. So as you can see, Rabbi Friedman will be walking you through all aspects of marriage, parenting, and family relationships. You'll have one-on-one support throughout this program, and will have the unique opportunity to get your personal questions answered that you haven't been able to get answered previously. But most importantly, by investing in yourself now, you'll discover how to remove daily power struggles by establishing clear and firm boundaries, allowing you to create a respectful and rewarding relationship with your child. You'll be able to make your child feel needed, not just loved, enabling them to fully actualize their potential of being capable, responsible, and independent. Discover how being in control bring control to an out-of-control family life by raising your children to take responsibility for their actions, attitudes, and emotions. And finally, avoid feelings of resentment, frustration, and anger, and instill in your child an appreciation and understanding of your values and guidance. We have never offered an inclusive package like this before, but we listened to all of our members' requests. So for the first time ever, we have created an all-encompassing program alongside a one-of-a-kind mentor. To become a basic member and get the full live series with Rabbi Friedman, you'll only pay $397. And the platinum package, including the full live series, plus the 4-part series on intimacy, plus the 8-part series on healthy self-esteem, and the 14-part series on family relationships, is only $697. But as I mentioned at the beginning, for today only, we're actually doing something extremely special, something we've never done before. But again, I really listen to our members. We know that these are things that you are looking for. So for the first time ever, we're actually offering the platinum package for the basic price. You'll get all of the classes on parenting, plus the additional 3 bonus courses that are all pre-recorded and available to you to listen to at your convenience for just $397. But that is just we need to keep this as intimate as possible so that you can continue to get your questions answered. And I decided to go ahead, slash that price, and give you the full package for just $397. Plus, of course, there are payment plans to make it as easy as possible for you to join. So let me go ahead and share the link with you right now in your chat box. It's www.jewishworkshops.com/purpose. And I just want to remind everyone, as you sign up, you can actually copy and paste that link right into a separate browser and still be able to listen to the workshop. We're going to get to so many more questions that are coming in right now. You can go ahead and secure your spot, get that special rate, and just come on back. I would love to be able to welcome you. So if you can come back to your chat box and write your first name and the words "I'm in," I'd love to welcome you to our community and have an idea of how many spots we still have left. As I mentioned, we've got 100 spots available. It will most likely sell out today, based on the results and the special price going on. So go ahead and secure your spot now, and then just come back and let me know that you're in. I am happy to welcome you, and we are really excited to continue on. Of course, if you have any problems registering, please come back and just put your name and your telephone number into the chat box. I want to be able to go ahead and help you register over the phone. I've got people standing by to give you a call. So please come back, just put your name and telephone number right here. We will give you a call as soon as possible and help you secure your spot that way. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get to some questions. And I just have to say, oh, wow, I'm looking at people already registering. Welcome, Sarah. Wonderful to have you. Welcome. Okay. Welcome, Esther. Wonderful. IK is also in. Welcome. And there's another Esther. Welcome. This is so great to see everybody joining. And I can see some people also putting in their phone numbers. So again, if you're having any difficulty registering, please just come on back. I'll go ahead and put that link in again. And I'll actually put it up here on the screen for you too. It's www.jewishworkshops.com/purpose. And let me go ahead and get to some of these questions that are coming in. Okay, Alex, in answer to your question, the live classes on Parenting with Purpose are all going to take place Thursdays, 12 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Israel time, and we are starting next week, November 30th. Okay, so Rabbi Friedman, we had some questions coming in. Let me backtrack here. We can try our best as parents to teach children that they are needed, but what happens in school when a child has a hard time socially? There are so many other children to choose from, and they feel like they're the ones that are being left out and not really needed in that situation.
So here's a perfect example of the intersection between raising children as a lifestyle and correcting or fixing problems when they develop. So we really hadn't talked about, how to help a child who's being bullied or feels unnecessary in school or feels like he's failing in school, because that's already repair. Will it help a child who is feeling this way and having this problem in school? Would it help the child to simply reinforce all the things that a healthy child needs to have. If he knew more clearly what his life was about, if he knew his purpose or the purpose, would that help? Would it help a child who feels victimized to know that he is here to make a difference? Not to be safe or protected. He's here to make a difference. So imagine a child comes home and says, there's a student there who's bullying others, bullying me. What do you say to that child? I'll call the police. I'll talk to the principal. Go to school wearing protective armor. Or do you say, so what did you teach that child? How can we help that child stop being a bully? How can we make a difference? How can we provide the bully with what the bully needs? And maybe the bully needs to have the principal discipline him. Maybe the bully needs to go to jail. But what is it that we can do to make the world better? We are here to serve, not to be safe and protected. Will that make a difference? Will that empower the child so that the child is no longer a victim? Possibly. You got to try it. And if it doesn't help with the bullying problem, at least the child is more clear and more inspired to fulfill his purpose, if they'll just let him.
Great, thank you so much. I am going to go ahead and get to some more of these questions here. And again, I see more people signing up, so it's so wonderful to have you. Welcome, Leah, welcome, Esther, and welcome, Avram. Excellent to have all of you. Please continue to come back and let me know when you're in. And again, if you're having any difficulties, just put your name and phone number in so we can give you a call as soon as possible. Rabbi Friedman, we had a question. Thank you so much for these amazing truths put in a very digestible way. I have been teaching your teachings, but my teenagers are not interested. It seems they only care about their needs rather than what they are needed for. Why is that, and what should I do about it at this stage?
Well, again, there's a problem. Something went missing, and how do we repair it? Rather than thinking of it as damage control, let's go back to the original plan. The child needed to learn that being needed is more important than his own needs. He needed to learn this years ago. How does he learn it now? But it's the same project, and it will fix the problem by eliminating it at its source. So how do we convince children who are already caught up in the me monster? How do we convince them that it is a monster and that they really don't want this monster? They don't want to be its victim, and that the pleasure that they will get from being needed will be much more satisfying than whatever pleasure they think they're getting from having their needs met and their demands fulfilled. How do we do that? Well, certainly modeling is important. Be a model of what it is you're trying to convey. Stories are still, even in teenage years, stories are still a very effective means of communicating values. Even current event stories, like pointing out what the teenagers are hearing in the news, pointing out to them that, look, this is what happens when the me monster takes over. Or heroic stories of people who were able to put aside their me monster and actually do what is right and be needed, respond properly when needed. So it's an educational process, not a psychological crisis. Educate. Find every opportunity, find every means to educate. And that is to enlighten, to inspire, and to inform. Children, teenagers are not stupid. They know when they hear something of value. You just have to make sure they heard it. So if you're saying good things to your children and they don't hear it, it's not because they don't appreciate what's real and true and substantial. It's because they didn't hear you. So try again some other way to communicate the same message, because when they hear it, they're going to be fantastic. They're not always listening. So you got to find the right setting, you got to find the right tone, and this is the things we're going to talk about in the next 6 sessions. But don't give up on the success or the power of education. If we teach the right things, we will produce the right kind of people. You are what you believe. You are what you know. How do you get past a teenager's resistance? Well, that's a good project. That's a good objective. Get past their resistance, and they will be terrific. Because when you give an intelligent, idealistic child the right information, there's nothing in the world that can stop the goodness that will come from that.
Thank you so much. And the person said thank you too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue to get some of these questions. I just see that Sarah has a question about the package again. So let me go back and just make sure that I went through everything properly. So in addition to the 6-week course on parenting with purpose, as I mentioned, all of those classes are going to be live and interactive. You also have the opportunity to get 3 huge bonuses, including the full 4-part series on A Couple's Guide to Lasting Intimacy. And the first time we actually had this course, we sold out in a matter of days. Over 200 people were able to participate, which was absolutely phenomenal, and at a price of $397 on its own. So again, just really being able to go through all of the different relationships that you have as a parent, as a spouse. You know, this will help. I think Rabbi Friedman put it really nicely in the intimacy class itself. When you do have a healthy, intimate relationship, and please, again, Rabbi Friedman, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you have a healthy, intimate relationship with your spouse, everything in the home gets easier. Is that right?
Absolutely true. And vice versa. If it's not healthy, everything else in the house suffers.
Right. So we are putting that package in, plus a new path to self-acceptance, personal power, and a healthy self-esteem. And again, series to a whole new level, insights and perspectives that you haven't heard before, not only, you know, focusing on self, but really helping you find just an inner stability to get through challenging times in your life. Plus, getting to like the people you love, another full series that examines the nature of relationships, their godly dimensions, and the secrets to getting along with the people you can't get along without. So as I mentioned, the full package with all of the bonuses is $697. But again, just for today, we are doing something extra special for everyone who made the effort to come in and attend. And we will give that full platinum package for the basic price of just $397. And payment plan options are available when you click to register. So when you go to www.jewishworkshops.com/purpose, you'll see a register now button there. When you click on that, On the actual order form, you'll have all of your payment plan options available, and you can pick the one that best fits your needs, so you can pay over time as opposed to paying all up front if that's more comfortable for you. Let me go ahead and just welcome our brand new members. Welcome, Lori. Wonderful to have you. Welcome, Malky. So nice. Welcome, Jonathan. Welcome, Gitti. And welcome, Chava. Okay, so let me see. There's some other questions that have continued to come in, and please, again, put any questions in the question box if you have them. If you have any questions about the program itself, I'm happy to answer those. And of course, we're going to get to more questions with Rabbi Friedman right now. Rabbi Friedman, how do we make children feel needed when one has multiple children and limited time because of work, schedule? Is a fine line between making a child feel needed and the child feeling the parents are taking advantage of him when he is given tasks and other things to do. How do we achieve the right balance between the two?
Oh, that's a very important distinction that we need to make. When we say a child is needed, we're not talking about a pragmatic function, like I need you to put away the books. In fact, I don't even like that expression. I need you to put away the books. That's not what you need me for. The books need to get put away. Somebody should do it, and if you're available, why not you? But that's not what I need you for. You're not there to run errands for me. I need you to be in my life. You are part of my definition. I'm not me if you're not there. That's called being needed. And that's even true of God, by the way. It sounds a little controversial, but God is not himself without us. Is that not true? Don't we keep referring to him as our Father? Well, is he a father if there are no children? Is he our king if there are no subjects? So it's not that he needs us to run errands. He needs us to be him. To be the God of Israel, there has to be the children of Israel. No? Does that follow logically? How can he be the God of Israel when there is no Israel? So he defines himself by us. He is our God. We are his people or his children. And of course, the same is true with parenting. A parent is defined by the child. I'm me because I have you. Now, will you put away the books? Now, will you do me a favor and run an errand? But it's not that I need you for the errand. And if you give that, if it sounds like that's what you're saying, if that's what the message comes across to your child, I need you to put away your books, to clean up your room, to get a good report card, and to be nice to your siblings, no, they're going to rebel. They're going to resent it. Of course, honoring parents means doing menial tasks. But that's the child's mitzvah. That's not what you need from them. What it means to be needed is your very existence is necessary. Your presence, you are necessary. Because without you, I am not me. And that's true of God, and that's true of parents, it's true of grandparents. What is a grandparent if not the grandparent of the grandchild? So your existence gives my life its definition, its meaning, its content, its pleasure. You are necessary. Somebody else can clean up the room. But if you have some time, go ahead, clean up the room. Don't only be needed, be useful too. That wouldn't hurt. But make sure that the message comes across clearly. Without you, I am not me. And of course, without me, you're not you. That's called being needed. That your very existence makes a difference, a positive difference. To God, to your family, to your people. If one Jew was missing at Mount Sinai, the Torah would not have been given. Because every Jew is essential to the Jewish people. So the Jewish people is not what it's supposed to be without each individual Jew. The family is not a family without you. And God is not our God without us. So somebody put it really nicely. Did you notice how sad? God is so old and he has no grandchildren. Because everyone is God's child. There are no grandchildren. All Jews are equally necessary, without distinction between you're my child, but your child is my grandchild. No. I am God's child, and my children are his child. I don't get between them. They have a direct, immediate relationship. That's called being needed, being significant, making a difference. And if you can, do something useful, that helps too.
Great. Thank you so much. I am going to go ahead and welcome members. And again, just to remind everyone, I see some people putting in their phone numbers for assistance. Please stick by the phone. We will give you a call as quickly as possible. And if anyone's still having any difficulties registering, I want to make sure that you get your spot and you still get this extra special discount that's going to expire in the next 24 hours. So please just come back and put your name and phone number in if you have any questions or need help registering. And welcome, Dina. Welcome, Jeremy. Excellent to see both of you as well. Okay, let me get to some of these other questions here. Sorry, I just lost one. Okay, so it looks like we've actually been taking some of the questions relating to some of our older children, but this is a great question. Just when dealing with a 3-year-old, how do we actually speak to them and really make them understand on their level? The child's very strong-willed, and when it comes to things specifically like getting dressed or mealtime, everything is just a constant struggle to get them to comply, to get them to listen. How can we help them, even at the younger ages, to understand how important they are and their actions?
We're going to talk about it a lot in the future conversations, but just briefly, every time you tell a child it's time to go to sleep, it's dinner time, we're going out, we're sitting down, what you're basically saying is, now it's time for this, regardless of how you feel. You're introducing a reality beyond the child's 5 senses. And that is so crucial because the child's life is completely governed by his senses. I feel, I see, I hear, I taste. That's it. That's life. That's reality. You come along and say, regardless of what you're feeling right now, 8 o'clock is bedtime. There's an objective truth. There's an objective reality that is just as important. So instead of asking the child, are you feeling sleepy now? You think you should go to sleep now? You say, no, it's bedtime. Such an innocent, non-threatening educational message. It's bedtime. Shabbos is starting in 10 minutes. It's not up to you It's not your feeling, it's not your opinion, it's not your experience. Shabbos starts in 10 minutes. And then you can't do that anymore. You got to stop whatever you're doing. You see how you're introducing a reality beyond the confines of a child's senses. The trick is, get the child to do what is supposed to be done by asking him to do those things you know he likes to do or will do if you ask. Don't start with those things he resists. By asking him to do the things you know he's going to do, saying, it's time for dessert. So sit down, time for dessert. He wants dessert, he likes dessert, he's going to cooperate, but that's a good exercise. You asked him, you told him an objective reality, and he responded. That's building the habit of obedience. Not obedience to you, obedience to an objective reality. When it's time, it's time. When it's supposed to happen, it happens. When Shabbos comes, it's Shabbos. And then you can say, this candy, we're not eating this candy, it's not kosher. And it's amazing how it'll sit there on the counter for weeks and your child will not eat it. Unless it's his favorite candy. But then you're asking for trouble, right? So get that candy out of there. But leaving a candy around, and every day the child sees the candy sitting there and doesn't eat it, you are strengthening that quality in the child. If it's wrong, I don't do it. Not because I think, not because I feel, not because I hear, but because it is wrong. There's a reality bigger than me. So my short answer is this. Get your child into the habit of listening by asking him to do the things you know he's going to do. But don't make it personal. Don't say, well, you love this, so eat it. Or you love your book, so you're going to put it away in a safe place. Don't feed the me monster. Feed the objective, bigger than us truth. I'm going now because it's time. When you say to, I'm going off to shul now because it's time to daven. I'm going to light candles now because it's time for Shabbos. So model this ability, this art of responding to an objective truth without any selfish, sensual reward. I don't like how it sounds. I don't like what it tastes like. I don't like what it feels like, but that's what you do when it's time to do it. That is so good.
Thank you so much. I just want to clarify a few things here. I see a number of questions coming in. If you miss any of the live classes over the next 6 weeks, you will have recordings available to you for all of the classes. Whether you come live or not, everybody gets the recordings in their own personal membership area. Register, you'll get a little bit more detail on that, but you can just log into your computer and there you'll have the class recordings each week. You'll be able to either watch them right there on the screen, or you can download them to a mobile device if that's easier for you. Take it on the go and listen at your convenience. Also, the membership does include your spouse. So if you are looking to take the parenting course together, or you would just like to both be able to view it either together or at different times, your membership includes you and your spouse. So at any time, they can also log into that personal membership area and you can watch and listen right there. Let me just see, there were some other questions about that as well. All of the parenting classes are live and interactive, just like today. You'll be able to put your questions right in and get them answered on the spot. And the bonus courses on intimacy, self-esteem, and getting to like the people you love are all pre-recorded. So those will be available immediately, the entire course, and you can listen to that and download it at your convenience. Make sure I didn't miss any others here. Again, if you have any other questions and I didn't explain it, can the payment be divided? Absolutely. There are payment plan options available right when you go to the page. Let me put it in here again in case somebody missed it. I'll put it on your screen too. It's www.jewishworkshops.com/purpose. And I know some people are listening over the phone too. So if you can't see it on your screen, I just said it again for you and put it into your chat box. You can go right there, and when you get to that page, the page will also have all of the details about the course. It'll tell you each class subject, the title, and everything that's going to be included. It'll also give you your bonuses, and it'll have a big register now button. Make sure that you go ahead and grab your platinum package for the highly reduced rate, and you can get that at the basic price. And when you click register now on the order form, you'll have your payment plan option. So you don't have to pay all at once. You can pay in a divided as whatever payment plan option best. A few choices there on that page.
Any questions for me?
Yes,
or am I still needed?
You're very, very much needed. We do have some great questions as well. SL asked, how can I handle intentional disrespect?
What an opportunity to teach. You see, everything a child does under the age of 17 is an opportunity to teach. It doesn't matter whether it's intentional, not intentional, it's a child. And you know the child needs to be raised, the child needs to be educated, the child needs to be trained. So if you suddenly notice an area in which he needs training, well, welcome to the club of parenting. It shouldn't scare you or intimidate you or even disappoint you. The child needs raising. It's like, under the age of 2, you don't get upset if the child has a dirty diaper. Again? Yeah, again. Until you toilet train them. So every opportunity, every occasion, every argument, every resistance, every poor behavior is just an opportunity to teach. Convince yourself of that. It'll do your heart a lot of good. It sounds like, from the question, it sounds like, I've got an impossible kid. He's out to get me. He's spiteful. He's doing this just to ruin my life. Maybe not that dramatic, but there's something wrong with my child. How do I fix it? No, there's nothing wrong with your child except that he's not an adult. So when a child behaves childish, well, now you know what you're there for. Now you know what you're needed for. You're needed to help this child outgrow the childish stuff so that he can become an adult. But you can't just expect them to be adults already, because then you're out of a job. So take it as an opportunity, not as a disappointment, not as a not as a crisis or panic time. When the child is being stubborn, well, he's got a strong-willed character. How do you raise that? How do you use that for the positive? What is your message? It's an opportunity. Opportunity to talk about the me monster, not as a criticism, as an observation about life. So be a little more philosophical about it. Don't take it personal. Don't make it an emotional crisis. It's an educational moment.
Thank you. As we are, going to be closing up in a little bit here. I do want to get to some last questions while Rabbi Friedman is still with us. Rabbi Friedman, how does a parent express his emotional need for the child without coming across too needy himself?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's reword that question. Should parents tell their children about their emotional needs? It's fine to be open and to be honest. It's fine to tell your children what you're feeling, how you're feeling, but not needs. It kind of grates on the ear to hear parents say to children, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. It's a reversal of roles, and children don't respond very well to it. Don't be needy. Be needed. And if you are needy, you can say so by describing your feelings or your pains or aches. But don't saddle the child with your need. They're not equipped to handle your needs. They haven't managed their own yet. So if the question is, can you be honest about your emotions? If you're sad, can you cry in front of your children? Absolutely. If you're worried and nervous, can you tell your children that you're worried and nervous? Absolutely. Be honest, be open. But if you're asking, how do I tell my child how desperate I am or how dependent I am on their help or their behavior, that's not helpful. So don't come across needy, just come across transparent. Don't hide feelings, don't hide your moods, but don't hang it on them. Don't put the me monster in there. You say, I'm sad, I cry. Don't make it a crisis in life. When you're happy, you laugh. When you're sad, you cry. Okay, that's life. Don't inject the me monster. And the needy part is the me part. So be open, be natural, be transparent. But don't burden your children with your needs. They can't help you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap up in just a little bit. I'll take a couple more questions here. And I do want to remind you, if we're not getting to every question, it will be a much more intimate setting on all of the live classes. And you'll get so many more of them answered week after week, plus that live Q&A at the very end. I also want to remind you, if you're not able to make a live class, you can always email questions in ahead of time, and we'll make sure that Rabbi Friedman's able to address those during the class so that you can listen to the recorded answer. Rabbi Friedman, I just have somebody asking about the intimacy program that's included in the full package. Does it serve a purpose to learn more about intimacy if your spouse isn't interested in working on it right now?
That's sad. Yes, it definitely will help, even if only one of you is reading it or listening to it. Our relationship is made up of two people. If one person is healthier, the relationship is healthier. Not ideal, far from complete, but definitely healthier. So if you can get yourself a little healthier, a little stronger, then the relationship will be healthier and stronger, even though you may have another thing to argue about or to disagree on. But the relationship is healthier if one of the two becomes healthier. So don't underestimate that. Ideally, what people have told me is that when they listen to the lecture or they read the book, they read it together. He reads a chapter, she reads a chapter. He reads a chapter, she reads a chapter, and in that way, they're staying in touch with each other's progress, with each other's growth and change, which is really good. So if you can get your spouse to do that, even if he doesn't think he has a problem or needs any advice on intimacy, but just for him to know what you're reading, for him to know what you're listening to, or for her to know, so that you don't want to go off on a solo journey when you're married. So you ask, join me, do this with me. It's a little book. It's just a tape. You listen. Not a huge time investment, but very helpful that you stay in touch with each other's growth and progress and learning. So try to get your spouse involved. But even if not, you'll benefit from it. And if you benefit, the relationship benefits.
Thank you so much. Rabbi Friedman, if you could just leave us with some words of wisdom. There are some people on the line right now that are still wondering, what is this course going to really offer in terms of practical tools? What, I guess maybe just give us a little bit of a sneak peek into what's coming up, and leave us with some words of wisdom as we close up in a little bit.
I'm glad you used that expression. Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. The self-help books and the self-help projects are, I'm sure, essential and very helpful to people who are benefiting from it. But it always feels like it's missing something. Like there's a way of communicating that avoids argument, and there's another way of communicating that invites argument. Knowing that is helpful if you want to avoid argument. But when you come home in a bad mood and you're lashing out, you don't care whether it produces an argument. So if somebody would say, using that language provokes arguments, fine. Tell me why I shouldn't be arguing with you when I'm angry at you and so on. So that the self-help advice is useful for people who are looking for that kind of advice because they want peace in the house. But if your husband comes home looking for a fight, all of a sudden, all that advice is useless. So I would like to go a little deeper than that, to words of wisdom that motivate you to want peace in the house and to want to get along with your spouse and to want to do the right thing. And then you'll find a way to do it without anyone advising you on how. And if you're not motivated, then all the advice on how to have shalom bayis isn't going to work, because you're not looking for shalom bayis. You're looking to get it your way. And why shouldn't you? See? So that's where the wisdom comes in. We're going to talk about attitudes, understanding, wisdom, truths that will change your life without a method, without choosing your words consciously. You will say the right words when you're in the right frame of mind. So if we can get into the right frame of mind, it will produce the proper feelings which will bring the right words to your lips, and you'll end up saying what needs to be said because of the wisdom, not because of the communication skills. Very seldom does a person who has the wisdom and has the motivation lack skills. When you love somebody, you don't need anyone to tell you how to express it. Hardly ever. There are people who have all the right feelings but can't find the right words. And they need the skills. But there are far more people who don't have the right motivation and the right feelings to begin with. So that's what we're going to accomplish. We're going to go to the core, to the source of it all. What is right? What is wrong? What is true? What is false? And why should you care? Because once you know and care, everything else will fall into place. Even the most impossible relationship suddenly becomes enjoyable. Without learning new tricks, just refreshing your memory, why you got married in the first place. What does marriage mean in the first place? What is life about in the first place? So if we can get all that wisdom in, you're going to be a different person. So obviously your life is going to be different. So I just heard recently that people who are listening to these concepts and understand the problem with the me monster, they've come up with an interesting slogan when they get to this topic. Their slogan is, "Are we still talking about you? Have we not gotten past the me monster?" And it's a good summary of everything we've been talking about. There's so much to life. There is so much to do. There are so many people who need you. And we're still talking about you? Are we still talking about you? Time to move on. Time to move on to things much bigger, much more exciting, and much more pleasurable than me. So join us and let's change the world. Change the world. The me monster has got to go.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman, for being here. We really appreciate all of your time. Looking forward to seeing you again next Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and stay on the line a little bit longer and get to anyone else's questions about the course. So I'll leave the webinar open a little bit. But Rabbi Friedman, thank you. We appreciate all of your time. And I'm seeing so many people writing, thank you, thank you. It was a wonderful class, amazing. So many great tips already taking away. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And again, looking forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, I am going to stick on here for just a little bit longer. If anybody has additional questions, please come and just put those right into the question box right now. I know that someone just came in a little bit late. Can you please repeat the times and the costs? So all of the live classes over the next 6 weeks, as I mentioned, we're starting next Thursday, November 30th, will be at 12 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. Israel time, and for a very, very special 24-hour discount, you will actually get a full platinum package today. That is the full 6-week course plus the full course on intimacy, the entire course on a healthy self-esteem, and getting to like the people you love, all for before we get to a close up right here. Anyone else have any questions here? I'm going to go ahead and just leave the chat box open for a little bit. If you still have questions or need help registering, please come back and put your name and your telephone number right into the chat box. We don't want to miss having a chance to help you, but I don't have any of your information. So just come right on back, put your name and telephone number in if you still have questions. Otherwise, you can go straight to www.jewishworkshops.com/purpose. I'm putting that right into your chat box again so you can copy and paste. All right, it was such a pleasure being here with all of you today. Thank you so much. Again, I just want to remind everyone, there will be recordings of all the classes. So if you don't have a chance to listen to a live class, or you listen to the live class but want to hear it again, please know that you'll have recordings available to you to listen to or download at your convenience. All right, it was a great pleasure being here. Have a wonderful day. And as I said, I'm just going to leave this open for a little bit. You won't hear any noise, but you'll have a chance to put your name and phone number in if you still have some questions. Thank you so much. Have a great day.